Creepy Encounters. Story 1. Staircase Encounter. During trip to Dallas a couple weeks ago, the elevators at the hotel broke down for a while. Due to that, my friends and I had to take the stairs back up to our room. We were on the 22nd floor. That's how we found out about the stairs. The next day, my friends and I went down the wrong stairs on our way to the lobby, wanted to get exercise, and since it was almost curfew and got stuck. Luckily, one of the girls stayed in the room, so she got us out. Not scary creepy, but being stuck in crappy hotel staircase is unsettling. Anyways, two girls took the fixed elevator back up. Myself and the one other girl decided to take the correct staircase up those 22 floors. On floor 11, we started hearing weird sounds. I was whining and joking about being tired of going up the stairs. But my friend shushed me and we stayed in place for a few seconds before we heard running on the stairs. Nobody came in after us, and the sound came from below us. We said screw this and went out through the case door and hit the elevator button on floor 14. We heard a door slam and ran into the hall to hide, then into the elevator when it came, and down to our door as soon as we got off. I put this here because it was creepy. We have no idea what it was, and it could all be coincidental. But never will I use a hotel staircase again, unless there's like 50 other people. And in all honesty, it was likely someone in the hall, since the staircase shares the wall and there was hundreds of teens and adults in this hotel. But that doesn't stop how unsettling it was. Story 2. Drunk excursion into the forest. One night after a student party, my mate and I decided to bike up a mountain to a large opening in which the city had installed hammocks to watch the sunrise. It was at times a steep incline which made us go slow now and again. Only our bike lights to guide us. Left a steep decline, right a steep incline. My friend, in better shape than I was, got well ahead of me. Halfway to our destination, we heard a rustling coming from the right, and before I knew what was happening, my friend had turned his bike around and had started pedaling hard. I saw this rugged guy run towards my bike. He almost grabbed the front of it, but I managed to turn around just in time to follow my mate. Started pedaling like my life depended on it. That guy ran after us all the way to the entrance of the mountain, then stopped and watched us pedal away. Creepy. Story 3. Weird guy on the highway. I was driving to work today. I actually tried to look cute, so I did my makeup and everything. And this guy I was driving past leans out of his window to stare into my soul. He was keeping pace beside me, just full arm on the car door, leaned out staring while I was trying to pass him, which was odd, but I just smiled and drove ahead. He immediately pulled behind me and started riding my ass super hard, and I immediately got scared. I pulled up to a light soon after, and he got into the left turn lane beside of me. I knew he would, and I got super anxious as he pulled beside me slowly, rolled down his passenger window slightly, and just stared at me wide-eyed. He had plenty of room to pull forward and not even be beside me, but he just stopped, stared, and then sped off after I maintained eye contact and waved. It was really creepy because his windows were completely tinted. So he made a point to make sure we made eye contact when he cracked the window. I don't what he was doing or why he was doing it, but I do not feel like he was a sane person. I'm assuming this was someone on drugs, because it was so fucking weird, but it had me very unsettled in the moment, being a female by myself. I've been followed before, and that just really amped up my paranoia. Story 4. Creepy coworker. I had the creepiest coworker for 8 years. He was in his 40s and never married. He would always wear black every day and was into that goth subculture, which is usually a temporary phase that teenagers go through. He didn't have a lot of friends at work. He never seemed to have a girlfriend either because women tended to be afraid of him. He self-published a horror novel and sent everyone an email about it. He had a weird laugh and a crooked smile. Even the way he talked was creepy, slow and tentative. I knew that he used to live in a different state and wondered why he moved here. I wouldn't be surprised if he had real actual skeletons in his closet. I'm waiting for the day when his name appears in the news headlines. Story 5. A friend of mine said he literally saw the devil when he was a child. I'm not religious or something, but I have a friend of mine that it is from church, and once he said to me that when he had around 4 or 5 years old was doing something related to toys when he felt a tap in his back, turned around and saw something that he describes like a cartoonish vibrant red creature incredibly tall. It was smiling ear to ear and had a very deep stare and red eyes. I thought I'd be curious to share, considering that he already had problems with LSD in the past. I probably think this is nothing, but I don't know, dude. The way that he said this to me, it was like he was really serious about it. Long. And yes, he also said to me that the creature had a tail. Story 6. You've got poop mail? One day, a package addressed to my wife arrived in one of those priority envelopes. She opened it. It was a bag of cow poop from poopsenders.com. The manure even had some grass stuck in it. I contacted that company, but they wouldn't tell me who sent it. We suspect it was an eBay seller who was mad she returned an item a couple weeks prior. The package had her maiden name on it, which she only still uses for some online shopping sites. What kind of person spends $30 shipping someone poop because of a disgruntled eBay transaction? Those websites seem like a harmless prank at first, but it's really unnerving to get one anonymously. So, if you're thinking about doing that to someone, please don't unless you're going to share the joke with them later. It's a really shitty thing to do. Story 7. Microaggressions are the precursor to more serious harassment. Had a strange experience. In the bus that takes you up to the flight in the airport. I got in and I stood next to a place that has a pole rather than just the handle they have on the top railing to hold. And this one dude, 35 to 40 years old, he got in and immediately looked at me and picked to stand near me, and then kept staring right at my chest, and then up at my face, and then to my chest again. I felt so uncomfortable, so I turned around and faced the other way. There were 4 men seated on these seats. All were in full view of how this dude was staring. Of course they kept quiet. And then I moved a little bit more 'cause he was now leaning on my back. And he was now actively trying to push me away from this pole by leaning his body onto mine and tried brushing against my butt with his hand. I then decided to move towards the end of the bus. I tried to come there too. But there was literally no place. So he looked at me, has this sulk on his face, and then moves away. I am so glad I wasn't alone with this guy in a less crowded situation. Or a dark alleyway. Am I wrong to think he's a potential sex offender? Story 8. Once upon a time in Phoenix. My friend and 120s took a road trip to Phoenix, AZ on a birdwatching trip seeking Harris hawks. We got a motel room in a pretty dingy part of town because it was cheap AF. We're walking down the street on our way to a diner, and there was a guy kind of lurking in an alley. As we pass by him, he says, "Hey ladies, do you know what this is?" and exposes himself. My friend says, "Yeah, it looks like a penis, only smaller," and I crack up. While we were laughing at him, he scuttled on down the alley in GTFO.